And this is the motherfucking Trash Boy Hours.
Trash Boys.
Is peanut butter a sauce, a topping, or a spread?
Spread.
What do you think, Jim? Is it a sauce, a topping, or a spread?
Spread. But what's a spread?
Well, why do you just say spread if you don't know what a spread
Cream
is?
cheese is like a spread.
No, I know, but like...
Because cream cheese is not a sauce or a topping. It's definitely a spread.
Well, what do you use? But like, what if you use like a cream cheese?
Here's the rule, okay? What do you put? Whatever you put on a bagel that's acceptable.
What's jelly?
A spread.
What's mayonnaise?
Sauce. Yeah, it's a sauce. Mayonnaise is a sauce.
It's a spread. Mayonnaise is a spread.
Hard disagree. Mayonnaise is definitely a sauce. I don't think it's a topping either.
I think we're missing a category. I'm trying to figure out what it is.
And whatever's the topping.
Condiment?
What about vinegar?
Vinegar is a sauce.
It's a dip.
A dip?
Just a dip. No.
Vinegar's a drink.
Yeah.
I drink that shit, son.
That is a beverage right there. If I ever saw one.
So what's a topping then?
Topping is
Pepperoni.
Like a dressing?
I would say a topping would be like pepperoni, olives, pickles,
Anchovies.
Anchovies. What about a topping would be, I'm trying to think about a liquid topping. Chocolate sauce.
That's not sauce in its name.
That is a sauce. And a topping. It's a sauce and a topping.
So then what's peanut butter?
Peanut butter is just a spread.
Peanut butter is a butter.
Oh!
So then what's butter?
You're going hard on the butter. Okay, the question is peanut butter a sauce, a spread, or a topping?
Yeah, but I think like that limits the choices that you have. I mean,
these are the categories that you presented to us.
Well, these are the only ones I'm aware of. I'm still searching for the answer. That's why I'm not really concrete in anything I'm saying. I'm still asking questions.
Would you please let my dogs in, sir?
Yeah.
Would you please let my pups in? Oh yeah, so we're talking about this Bankroll Hayden guy, right?
Bankroll Hayden. He's the guy that made that 209. So I have a funny story about this guy. He's kind of a younger guy, and back when I was a bit younger, I was pretty hood rat to say the least. While I was scratching the town on my bicycle, smoking weed.
Yes,
and
you're very
Swishers.
hood rat.
Time.
Sorry for laughing at you.
It's okay. I'm not hood rat, I should say, but I was a miscreant. I was a deviant.
You still are today. You cause trouble everywhere you go.
Definitely.
And you create like not confrontation, but like you have
a presence.
You have a very strong presence about you, and you're polarizing, I should say.
Yes.
Chaotic.
Yeah,
chaotic.
we just witnessed a little bit of that too at the In-N-Out.
Yeah.
You know, those girls outside. You know, you just kind of.
I forgot what I told them.
You told some girls outside of In-N-Out something.
I said something.
Yeah, no, we're
like just talking.
Yeah, no, it's because the whole the passenger seat, right? The whole thing where you said he's a martyr.
Oh yeah. Stevie got in the middle, and I was like, "He's the."
That's right.
I turned to these girls that were standing by their car, and I was like, "He's a martyr." And then
Stevie is a martyr for sitting in the middle.
Anyway, what's his name? Bankroll Hayden.
Yeah.
So one time he was at the local bowling alley with his friends. I pulled up. I started talking to them because they're being loud and they're being cool. I was talking to them, and I know him
didn't know
because
at the time, right?
I didn't. But Bankroll Hayden's brother is the drummer for a local band named Socks, which is actually a pretty popular band. Either way, I convinced them to buy me a soda can, have one of their friends chug it, and then I smoked weed out of that soda can and didn't share the weed. That's my story with Bankroll Hayden.
Yeah, you asked them to buy you a soda
hood
pop.
rat, bro.
Yeah, that's very hood
that's
rat.
very hood rat. I think you confirmed your status.
Yeah, you got hood rat clout.
So
I like you have smoked weed out of a fucking aluminum can, and that was also a terrible experience.
Who hasn't?
Wait, okay, here's a good topic. What is the most unconventional thing that you guys have smoked out of?
Rubber duck.
A rubber duck.
Yes.
Explain the setup.
That was
on this.
immediate.
Yeah. Explain. How do you? How do you fashion a rubber duck into a
this
smoking
dude
device?
just he cut a hole in the back, and I think he had like the beak or whatever. He he had a
pretty tight, though.
fashioned there.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then the bowl was on top of the head.
And so it was like metal though.
No,
on the
it
inside.
was like it was
to create the airflow. I'm asking.
no,
It was just plastic.
it was just a straight up. I think so.
There's a piece in the head, right?
Yeah, there was a piece on the head. Yeah.
And the guy had like a bong sitting by.
Yeah.
He just had like
He's
a bong
like,
there.
Jim, first before you hit the fucking nice ass one I got, you got hit out of the fucking rubber ducky. Yeah.
He's like
This
holding
is
it
all
up
I
to his
got,
mouth and
man.
squeaking it.
Yeah.
And shit.
It's like, this is all I got, man. You know,
Yeah, this is all I got.
money's tight. You know, I just
smoking
went into my
fucking-
little sister's room and grabbed the first thing I saw.
You guys smoke shake out of a fucking rubber ducky, a plastic rubber ducky? Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
It
dude.
was in an alley too. So that tells you about where I was at that time.
Very
you
nice,
know,
dude. Very nice.
One time, my friends and I made a bong out of like a, like the sports water bottles with like the nipple top on them. A pen.
Oh, like Powerade and shit? Yeah.
We had a pen, so we took the pen ink thing out, so it was just the hollow part. We cut off the top and then made a headpiece with tinfoil, and that was our bong. And yeah.
It works.
That works. Yeah. You guys have done the apple trick, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, definitely. And then ate it afterwards.
And
So,
ate it afterwards.
yeah.
Quite nice. Very nice. I did not eat it afterwards. I fucking threw the core away. Yeah.
It's probably
Just
so
wasted
good.
that shit, man.
It's probably so good to eat.
I mean, there's ash in it.
So it's still
Yeah. Like, I don't know. It's a fucking apple. What is it? Like 25 cents? Like really? Like what are you losing out on?
Have you ever eaten raw weed?
I have eaten raw weed, but not intentionally. There was a guy across the street from my friend's house who he was like a cancer patient, so he was using cannabis medically, but he would never smoke it. What he would do is he would dip it. So he would like pack a chew of fucking weed in his jaw, and I don't know if it actually worked or
If it's
I was like-
decarbed, it would.
yeah, it would
You'd have to roast it first.
Oh,
If it's just raw, then
Probably not
it
so
wouldn't do what he probably wanted it to do.
yeah. I mean, from my
But,
experience rolling blunts, sometimes like you taste the weed, and if you like get too many of the nugs in your mouth, like it makes me feel ill.
Yeah, it
So-
has an enzyme in it it'll make you sick if you eat it raw.
Yeah, so
So I think he's probably feeling that, and he's just like, dude, I'm high as fuck.
He's like, man, I got chemo. This ain't shit.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's probably puking up from the chemo and the weed enzyme that he's fucking taking. Yeah. Oh well, let me just
Jeez.
laugh at this old man who is now passed. Well, rest in
He
peace.
did what he could.
Yeah, he did
Let's
what he
just say
could.
that.
He could have just smoked the weed. He
Gave it
didn't
a
have very long to
valiant
live,
effort.
so probably would have been better if he just rolled the fucking joint up. But I was gonna say you live and you learn, but in his case, you don't.
Yeah, he just died.
Trash boy?
Yeah, trash boy hour. Shout out that guy. Shout out the dude who would pack
We
a
had
dip
no
of weed.
sympathy for
Yeah.
This has been an active podcast so far. Active 10 minutes.
Yeah, so for me, I haven't really smoked out of anything that's super like non-conventional.
Okay, I thought I was expecting since you asked, I thought it was gonna be
Something insane. You thought I was gonna up the
Oh,
ante?
yeah.
No.
Right.
I was just more curious to see what
So
you guys
just a
have done.
bong.
Yeah, I mean, because I've been spoiled. Like I would always latch on to people that had better shit than me, or we would like pool our money together to find
Oh, I
something.
wish Tyler was here so we could talk about our early day. What's it called? The gravity bong story.
Yeah. Oh fuck yeah.
Gravity
Yeah,
bong.
there's a
Classic.
time where he'd come over and we'd make that, just find 2 liter somewhere, and it was just it was fun.
Yeah.
But it's just like almost it's pretty intense,
Yeah. It was
especially with
harsh
your
for
first
me.
times and stuff.
It's the harshest. That's the
yeah.
best part.
Gravity bong was harsh as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, not so. I don't know. I don't think I would ever. Well, I'm not smoking anymore, so of course I'm
Right.
already like anti gravity bong to that extent. But if I was to smoke again, I would not fucking smoke from a gravity bong. It's kind of like I don't know. I mean, I got fucked up from it, but I've had experiences where like I had like bad depth perception, right? So like I would just fucking like dunk my head underwater, like trying to do it, and then so then you're high, you're coughing, and you're underwater.
Yeah.
So it's
yeah.
like a kind of
and
a bad
normally
combo.
you're doing this in front of a big crowd or something.
Oh yeah, you have an audience of people watching
there,
you,
yeah. So,
judging your technique on the gravity bong.
Yeah. No, that was yeah, that
You got a whole queue of people behind you waiting to use the gravity bong, and here you are fucking dunking the shit underwater, fucking choking and sputtering when you come up to breathe.
the first time that I ever did it, I was already drunk, so it was just like that hit me along with just being super just faded.
Yeah.
And it was just I was a mess. Like I couldn't even form proper sentences.
Holy shit.
But thoughts were like hitting me at like such a fast rate. And it was, I was just super uncomfortable. There was a crowd. I just latched on to somebody trying to like explain to them, what I was going through mentally. And it's just word vomit. I was just, oh man. But with Tyler, it was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys would just do it together?
Yeah. I mean, it was his phase. He sometimes he'd bring edibles. Like one time he brought an edible and like we split it. Like, I think it was like a 300, I want to say, it was a 300 milligram. But we split it like amongst ourselves.
Oh, Jesus.
And it was just like, well, actually we split it into threes. It was one for me, one for him, and one for my wife. And she was just like a zombie. Like she ended up puking.
Oh shit.
Like it got real bad. She was like pale.
Shit.
It's like an overload for her, but she had barely been smoking prior to this. So she had like no real experience with that much THC.
Dude, edibles will get you, dude.
They will get you because it's a different type of THC compound.
Yeah.
So it's like your tolerance for smoking is totally disconnected from your tolerance for edibles. So you think it like I remember like the first time I tried an edible was on college campus. It was like some homemade edible. It was a Flintstones or not like a Flintstones. What the fuck is the name of that?
It's like Fruity Pebbles.
Fruity Pebbles edible, yes. And the guy apparently, unknown to me, he had made it with concentrate. And at this time I didn't even know what fucking concentrate was. So he's like, "Dude, I made it with concentrate." I was like, "Dude, it's a fucking edible." I'm
so you
buying
concentrated
it. Yeah,
on
you
it,
concentrated.
right?
Yeah, I was like, it was like $5.
Oh, so you put orange juice in it.
Yeah, weed, not from concentrate. Yeah, but it was like green, like the fucking like actual like
It had a tint to it.
Yes, it had a green tint to it. So I was like, okay, this is weed. I can look at it and be like, okay, this is gonna get me high. And I ate it and it made me sick as fuck. I didn't puke though. What ended up happening was I just got so like dizzy and confused that like I just passed out. So I spent $5 on it, so it was cheap as fuck, but it got me so fucking high that I just conked out and I slept for like the whole fucking day. So pretty.
Are you sure that was an edible? I mean,
well, actually no, before I went to sleep I shout out to Josh Millman. Josh Millman,
dropping names now.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. Shout out Josh Millman. And he put on Kid A for me when I was taking. Yeah, he's like, bro, put on, listen to some Kid A. I'd already listened to it before, but I hadn't listened to it high.
On THC.
I just like nodded off, bro. Like I was like I just fucking shot up heroin or something. Like I was fucking like drooling, like listening with like fucking headphones on.
You're just in the zone.
Yeah, just like I was like slumped over, like totally slouched down, listening to fucking Kid A. I was stoned out of my fucking mind. And then after like it really set in,
just like this is a religious experience.
Well, that was one of the first times that I had been like colossally stoned and listened to music.
It's such a different.
Oh yeah, and then
and
that was actually probably one of the reasons why I became like seriously like habitual cannabis user, because I realized I'm such a big music guy. I'm such a big muso that it actually contributed to me. Like I was like, whoa, dude, there's every type of fucking band I can listen to high. So I was just listening to everything, and it was just a like incredibly powerful experience. But it was,
I could see where that could also become like a bad habit.
Yeah, it could. Yeah, it definitely.
Because I caught myself doing the same thing. Just like I had to be high, in a certain like mindset, like to properly listen to an album. And it was great those for especially because I think I was always like looking for that first time that I did it, and it's just that like just how different it is. You know, you're hearing frequencies that like you didn't hear before.
Exactly.
And yeah, I remember one time, this isn't even like listening to it, like I was actually like jamming in a garage with my old band, and we're just, you know, we're going through our set, and I was just super lit up, and I was like, and then like I looked around and everybody was looking at me because it was like it was supposed to be my time to go, like, you know, the vocals were supposed to start, but I was so lost because I was like, I didn't know there was a piano in this song. Right. I didn't know we had keyboards, but it's these high pitched, these in between, you know, it's like the harmonics, like everything. It was just like standing out, and I was so like focused on that. I was just like, man, this sounds so good, but I didn't remember the song like, you know, sounding that way.
Right. Exactly. It was a totally novel experience.
Oh
for
yeah.
You. Yeah. Yeah, it's very interesting. I remember the first time I took a shit while I was high, and I was like, "Whoa, dude! Even taking a shit feels good, man." And I was like, "Yeah, I mean, it sounds like such a you know, stupid thing to say."
Confirmed gay.
Yeah. Hey, don't tell me that a nice, satisfying shit doesn't feel good. Bro.
Yeah. I mean, sober.
Yeah.
But I can see, I guess.
Anal stimulation feels good. I mean, I understand it.
No, I'm talking about the pure satisfaction of a purely conical shit where you don't have to even wipe, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that's like
that's a satisfaction in of itself. That's one of life's simple pleasures. All right, yeah, beep that out.
That was very candid.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep that.
Yeah. So we got topics, right?
We do have topics, but we've been on a roll with these. But yeah, so okay, so do we want to hop into the Jackass thing?
Yeah, please.
Okay. So another shout out to Zach Holmes, Zackass on Instagram. He's this colossally fat dude who's doing like Jackass-esque stunts on Instagram. He like some of the shit I've seen him do is absolutely insane. I remember seeing a clip of him just take like a weed whacker to his chest. And it totally like fucked his ass up. He was bleeding, and there was like another.
Who is this guy exactly?
What's that?
Who is this gentleman exactly?
This guy, his name is Zach Holmes. It's Zackass on Instagram, and yeah, he's an
amateur stuntman.
Okay,
yeah.
Well, like I might recognize him, but
he just started doing videos of him doing random stunts. The first thing I saw was him with like a shirt made of fucking firecrackers.
Yeah,
and. Then I saw him. He just like try to fucking drop in on a skateboard, and he fucking like breaks it in half.
Okay, he's
crushes his nuts.
Steve-O, so he's definitely involved.
Oh yeah, dude. Eventually, he got endorsed by Steve-O.
Yeah,
and then I guess so. What's going on now?
So now he actually got picked up for a pilot with MTV, which is going to be, from what I've seen from the trailers, it's like pretty much like Jackass.
Yeah, they're trying to like recapture that.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
The spirit of Jackass. Okay, so what exactly? I mean, so far there's a trailer.
There's a trailer. They've been confirmed for a pilot that's going to come out in August. So, and I'm sure that it's going to do well because there's a huge market for, you know, stunts and essentially.
There always is. I mean, like that's just something that will never go.
There's always
slapstick. I mean, we can go all the way back.
Oh yeah, for sure. It goes way back.
Where comedy really, I mean, came from. But yeah, slapstick. You know, some of that old, you know, those silent films where, you know, you got characters on the screen just.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. But I think there's always going to be a demand for it, but the supply is somewhat limited by people that are actually willing to subject themselves to that. Pretty much torture, self-inflicted as it is.
The show's called Too Stupid to Die.
Too Stupid to Die. There you go.
That's a little bit more
and
creative.
It's from
that's more creative, less basic bitch than I thought it was. Yeah, Zackass.
Right.
Yeah. It seems very promising. It seems very entertaining. I watched all of Jackass when I was a kid. I watched all the movies. I saw all the movies in theaters and shit. I was a big fan of it, so I'm looking forward to seeing this. But in the trailer and in some of the later clips that he posted on his Instagram, like trying to, you know, do press for it and shit, there's a girl that's in their group, right? And she did this thing where they I can't remember exactly what they did, but I think they like she got like doused in something. They like covered her in some sort of liquid, and then they like made her like go through like she walked on her hands and knees through a bunch of like mouse traps and shit, and like she was just like, you know, crying out in pain as she like walked over this shit, and it felt bad to watch. It felt genuinely like sickening to watch, and like, no, I mean, I'm not even a big fan of like
you're disempowering.
Oh yeah, well let me disempower some more here. As I was like, I don't even like women in UFC type shit. That shit also kind of disturbs me a little bit. I have a viscerally negative reaction to it. It might have something to do with the fact that I have 3 sisters, and it just, you know, is a sort of a carnal rejection of that. But I feel like and I'm gonna be very anti-egalitarian here and say I do not think that it's going to be that well received by people because of the fact that people don't like to see women get the shit beat out of them. People do not like to see women like hurt.
But what I mean, I'm already questioning whether this is an attempt to like normalize.
That's exactly what I think it is.
That kind of behavior.
I think so. And I think that it's being used under the guise of equality, saying like, oh, if men can get the shit beat out of them and do, ridiculous
I just wonder
stunts.
if she's going to be like part of, the Steve-O type skits where it's like, she's having he's like barfing up, like, or like eating like, just fucking bugs and shit. Yeah.
What's her background? Does she have any like stunt work background?
I don't know. As far as I know, she's. I looked a little bit into her. She has a writing credit on the show, so she apparently writes some of the stunts and collaborates. I have like zero issue with her like being a creative director for stunts and shit. Like I have no problem with her contributing to the show in general, but I don't like to see women like hurt.
What if it was her idea?
I'm sure it was her idea. I'm sure it wasn't like they're like, yeah, bitch, go walk through a field of fucking mousetraps. I'm sure she. Well, I mean, totally
because I only bring that up because like there have been directors like David Lynch, for instance. He, I think in one of his films, I want to say Blue Velvet.
Yeah.
He like, there's scenes where he uses like, actresses, and it's like almost degrading.
The scene that you're talking about is the scene with the woman who sings Blue Velvet. I can't remember the name of the character's name, but she like shows up at the male protagonist's house and she's completely nude and she looks like she's like
been through
been raped and shit. But that's different. This is completely different because yes, it's acting. It's totally fiction. It's absolutely fictionalized. It's fantastical, and also it's for the use of narrative and story. In the case of the show we're talking about, it's a spectacle.
It's a show that's what it revolves around. It's just like human like idiocy. Yeah.
It's about human idiocy. It's a spectacle of humiliation and physical abuse, and it's funny. It's funny when you see like Wee Man do shit like that. It's funny when you see like when you see like Ryan Dunn. Yeah, it's funny when you see like Ryan Dunn sit on a block of ice and get his balls like stuck to the fucking thing. It's funny when Steve-O goes into like a fucking outhouse that has been totally used.
I'm just wondering if she's gonna get like her like pussy lips like stapled together.
Right. There's got to be some female specific stunts.
I'm sure there will be.
That hasn't been. I mean, you can't explore it in Jackass because there was no female on the crew. Another thing, though, I mean, I go back to her background is like lots of the guys in the original Jackass crew would design their own stunts to be showcased. So they're performers in a way in their own sick fucking circus. So if I'm really interested in her background, if she has done stunts, because then she's entering into a performance art type role in a way. I mean, as much as you can give it to Jackass,
right?
But I mean, I also think that she has the whole legacy of Jackass going against her, because the original Jackass crew, it's just an in-joke. You know all these dudes, and you want to fucking see them hurt each other and laugh at each other's pain and shit.
Oh, for sure.
This is you're stepping into, it's like the remakes of every fucking movie these days. It's not about telling the story so much as making the original idea like bigger and just the legacy is too much. It's overshadowing in lots of cases, and it makes shit suck, dude.
Yeah.
I kind of liked Zach Holmes because he was building that for himself, that organic in-joke feel. You want to learn about his crew and like, what the fuck, like, who is this guy? So it's cool. Like, I'm proud of him for getting a project like this.
Right.
As far as the people involved, like, I need to know. I haven't seen anything like you saw it and made you feel a certain way. If it's like straight up like the bitch from Fantasy Factory that laughs all the time and they just like, oh, you're cute, let's throw you on TV and fucking, then that's gonna fucking suck.
Right.
But if she's got a background where it's like legit, then I don't know that I would disagree. Yeah, object to it. Like, it's performance art at that point. You can do whatever you want, especially if you fucking design the stunt. Like, that's who I want to see perform it. The person who designed it.
Do you want me to read a little bit from the press release that they have?
Yeah. Okay.
So this is the names of the casting crew. Zach, 26, the stupid genius, the mastermind, building his following on Facebook and Instagram through his fearless stunts. Cody, 26, the screamer, always up for friendly competition and rarely plays by the rules. Megan, 26, hell on wheels, holds her own with this insane group of guys and is typically the one to push the limits.
Wait, she's crippled in a wheelchair?
No, I don't know why they call her hell on wheels.
Maybe she's like the Nitro Circus guys. Like, she rides motorcycles or some shit.
That's probably exactly what it is. Tommy, 26, most redneck, the guinea pig of the group who will step up when others are too scared. Chad, 27, tattooed teddy bear, big-hearted and the glue that keeps the crew together. Damon, blazer, human trash can, known for doing all things gross, plus he'll eat anything. I think that's kind of included within the first thing. Kyler, 22, Mr. Fearless, up to try anything once or twice.
He's Danger Aaron.
Yeah, exactly.
They called that guy a redneck because it's an all-white cast.
Yeah, they have to separate the redneck from the normal whites. Chad Tepper, 26, the instigator, YouTube star who visits the crew and takes things to the next level. Okay. So, interesting. Yeah, I mean, she's just the only girl.
There's a little bit for everyone in there.
Yeah. I mean, that's good marketing. But I'm trying to look on this girl's Instagram and see if I can find anything about her. I think she's just associated with these guys, maybe friends with them, and she's like, fuck it, I'll do it too. I don't see anything about.
I'm hoping she at least fucking rides a motorcycle or does some type of fucking like sport. You know what I mean? That qualifies her for these stunts that won't make us feel like she's just out to hurt herself for $1.
Yeah, I mean, that's just my initial reaction to it. I wanted to broadcast it. And I feel like there are things that can be sacrificed for the sake of total equality between the sexes. I think that there needs to be some reason and rationality about this. And I don't think that at the end of the day, I think that she should be able to do whatever the fuck she wants to do with her body. It's her body. It's her choice. I mean, that's a fucking cliched phrase to say, but, it's totally up to her, whatever she wants to fucking do. If she's signing release forms, if she's doing these fucking stunts, she's getting paid for it. MTV's okaying it. They have, I'm sure that all this shit is heavily supervised, and they have, medical staff on scene. So it's not like this is just a snuff film.
They're professionals.
Yeah, professionals in quotes, right? Yeah, but I just thought that it was, I just didn't have the same reaction to it that I normally have when I see Steve-O or Ryan Dunn do shit, or anyone like. Well,
because I mean, like, it's kind of programmed into us too.
Yeah,
we grew up with that
we
shit.
We just grew up like, I mean, boys, they're just like disgusting.
There's that legacy thing too. They're not going to do anything we haven't fucking seen.
Right.
In fact, they're going to pull out all the classics and not feel bad about not being original. Like a room full of mousetraps. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, seriously. Yeah, that's true. But I hope that they can live up to the hype. I hope that their pilot gets picked up.
I mean, it's cool that they're attempting that. That's kind of been missing.
Dude, no one's filled that shoes since fucking, what was it?
Dude,
Loiter Squad?
There's nothing there to watch anymore. I mean, if they're not playing music videos and they're not playing Jackass, it's like, what, nothing is grabbing me. There's like, they're gonna play some reality show that it's like
Right.
nobody wants to watch.
Exactly.
So I give them props. I just can't get over the fact that it's so obvious to me that like these networks are have been picking up on the fact that like like YouTube stars and like people that go viral on like social media. I mean, that's what people are mostly interested in nowadays.
Yeah.
Following all these creative personalities,
Digital influencers.
yeah. And so and it's so obvious, like they even have a member in that whole cast,
Right.
that represents that demographic. And but yeah, I mean, I just, the cynical part of me is just like, oh, of course they're gonna try and cater to that, like hit that try and corner that market too, like just like I mean, they need to, because nobody's watching. I mean, everyone is just opting out of watching TV. It's been a growing trend, for a while now.
Oh yeah, people are unplugging.
Even like the shows that are successful on there, like on MTV2, they have Ridiculousness, and it's like all like centered on like viral videos.
Yeah, the whole
Tosh
concept of
Point
that
oh
show
on Comedy Central. Tosh Point oh, I mean, that's what he's doing. It's taking
Yeah.
viral videos or people.
Didn't fucking Soup do that shit originally? Like, it's a well recycled
That's right.
fucking.
Yeah. Because I mean, that's what it, that's what they're focus. They're trying to, find, where's people attention go? Where's the masses?
Where's the dollar going?
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's ultimately what it's for. But yeah, like, I think, the conventional ways of, like people consuming their entertainment and their news and all of that, I think people have been showing, trends. The trends have been showing that it's going further and further away from just, sitting at home and watching TV. Now you can just watch it,
Oh yeah,
watch YouTube videos anywhere.
and
not even
then
be home.
with like Netflix or Hulu and shit, they'll release whole seasons at once. So you can like just binge that shit. There's no
Exactly.
anticipation
Or not, or you could take your time,
Oh yeah, that too.
you
But
don't have to wait for
scheduled programming is out the fucking
Yeah.
window, dude. You make your
So
own
who wants to
programming.
wait?
You
Who
make
wants
your own
to sit
programming.
through-
Like,
I mean, like the other day, like we hung out and you guys played you played that show for me on TV, and we had to you can fast forward because you had it, but it's like otherwise we're watching that on live TV and it's like I don't want to sit through these ads.
yeah, fuck.
I
no.
mean, even though
buy a TiVo just for that shit. Like,
Yeah, dude, I was listening to talk radio the other day. Sometimes I listen to Rush Limbaugh, and yeah,
I've listened to him before too.
Yeah.
Like try to listen to him like just unironically.
yeah.
And
No, I think he's funny, dude.
I mean, he's funny. Yeah, exactly. He one time I borrowed my wife's grandparents' vehicle.
Yeah.
And they just had it on that station, so I
Fuck
just
yeah.
let it play, and it was just like I found myself getting fired up. But even though it's like I don't really care for the. I mean, I care for the issues, as much as we need to, but it's like I'm not as passionate.
Yeah.
But it's just like no, he's totally that kind of person that. He'll tell it how it is, kind of.
Well,
thing.
you know what? You want to know the craziest
like it
thing about
is.
Rush Limbaugh and talk radio? This was insane for me to hear. Would you believe me if I told you that he has $12 million, 12 million listeners every single day? Would you believe that? Which is more than every syndicated TV show.
I mean,
it's talk radio though.
yeah, man.
I mean, that's just something you can put on, right? Maybe that's just like one
that is
listen, right?
like-
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like consider the reach of that's talk radio versus fucking
Well,
television.
that's somebody.
Right.
And that's people that didn't really like turn the, hear his voice and like, because I mean, he's got that voice.
He's got a commanding personality.
Right, yeah. So I mean, the fact that people are tuning in,
Yeah.
even like for, whatever period of time, it's just
Yeah. it was just so funny because he would talk for like 2 minutes, right? He would have like a 2-minute monologue. The episode I was listening to, he was talking about this group of like Fortune 500 like capital investors that are trying to like ensure their own immortality, or like they're trying to like, it's like he's talking about transhumanism essentially, but he's also talking about how these guys are trying to like invest in circumnavigating the oncoming apocalypse. And he was like just like talking about it in this article, and he was going on, but he would do like a 2-minute monologue, and then he would cut to fucking commercials, and there'd be like 5 minutes of commercials, and then like he would do like a 30-second monologue, then he would cut, and then he would have like a whole list of ads that were like related to him, and like one of them was like, get the Rush Limbaugh secret handbook to ending the illogical arguments of liberals. And it's like I haven't heard like this kind of rhetoric in like ever, right? I mean, I'm just like I operate in a totally different sphere.
I was listening to the radio the other day, and like I was just like in my car, and like how much you can get away with relative to advertisement as long as you just like agree with it and like absorb it. It's kind of like ridiculous. They're just like, they just tell you what it is, and like they can ham it up as much as possible.
Oh,
like,
yeah, they'll even
TV,
tell you another company
attention.
sucks.
Yeah, there's like no rules on there.
Yeah.
On the TV, if you don't have like an interesting image going on, or like a Coca-Cola bottle, like nobody even cares. Like you can't put words on a television and expect people to read it, but you can just feed people it on the radio.
Yeah.
So
Very interesting.
It's true. Speaking of TV, do we want to talk about the Dan Harmon and what was the other guy? The guy who directed Guardians of the Galaxy.
Gunn.
James Gunn. Let me just start by saying I watched one of James Gunn's movies yesterday, the day before that, in trying to figure out what the fuck this deal was. Steve, are you familiar with all this shit?
Yeah.
I watched Slither. Have you guys seen Slither?
no.
Have you seen
I think
it?
when it first came out, I
Are you
saw it
talking
once.
about? It's like isn't it like a comedy?
It's a horror comedy.
Oh, like a horror comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got this one actress in it.
It's got
She's
Nathan
blonde.
Fillion
Yeah, Nathan
and-
Fillion, and this blonde actress, right?
Yeah, I forget. She's very recognizable, but
Yeah,
she's very attractive.
Yeah, she's in.
I can't remember what her name is.
She's in. Her name's like Elizabeth Banks, right?
Maybe
I want to say that's her.
Yeah, that was Elizabeth Banks.
Elizabeth Bank. There you go. But yes, I watched that film, and it was great. I fucking loved it. It was. I mean, it was silly and kind of stupid, and it had horrible CGI. But it was like a sort of an homage to like early 70s horror, like where it's like very cheesy,
very,
kitschy.
Yeah, so obviously, yeah.
Yeah. But I watched it, and yeah, I thought it was very enjoyable. I thought it was kind of goofy, but yeah, nonetheless, it was entertaining. I don't have any qualms with it really, but yeah, I've watched Guardians of the Galaxy, and I thought they were pretty entertaining for superhero movies.
Yeah. I mean, I saw the first one, but I had no context on who these characters were.
Yeah,
Like,
I had no context either.
I've never looked into the comics or anything like that. But it was an entertaining movie. I mean, I can't think of anything that I objected.
Yeah, anything
to,
that stood out as being
yeah.
like particularly negative, or yeah.
Yeah, but so this guy, I mean, like as far as I know, they're actual tweets, right?
Yeah, they are tweets.
I mean, I know that
archive
I know
IS.
that that there's I mean, we live in a world where I mean anything can be edited, but I mean, as far as I know, he owned up to him.
Yeah. Let me read some of these tweets. So, just for the record, when I refer to I do not mean I as in me. Okay.
Whose tweets are these?
These are the tweets of James Gunn. He's just a director. That's really the only thing about it. And also he's
a director,
vocally,
but he worked for he was employed by Disney
and Troma. He worked with Troma first as well. That's where he got started as a director. He worked with Troma. So knowing that he worked with Troma, these tweets make absolute sense. Like Troma is like, it's just like lowbrow as fuck. Like, but
What's Troma?
Troma is a movie production studio that has made Class of Nukem High, the movie that we watched last. That was a Troma film.
Yeah.
Toxic Avenger, among a bunch of others, and they make like 7 sequels to each of their fucking movies that do well. So they like just kind of like release a lot of shitty films that are low budget, and then sometimes they have a hit, sometimes they just fucking suck. Most often they have like tits and a lot of sex and just like
But it's just like that category of film where it's like, You know, they're so
It's
bad
like
they're
cult.
good.
Yeah, it's like cult movies.
Yeah, just like really cheesy, corny type of.
But they're meant to be cheesy, corny.
yeah, they're
tongue in cheek.
Exactly, they lean into it.
Yeah, exactly. So very entertaining stuff. Actually, I'd recommend everybody watch Toxic Avenger if they haven't. I would recommend you watch Toxic Avenger.
Yes.
You, Austin.
Yes.
So let me read some of these tweets by the eponymous James Gunn. Okay. And some of these appear to be retweets. So here's the first tweet. I like it when little boys touch me in my silly place. Shh. Okay, there's the first one.
I think that was a retweet, wasn't it?
It was a retweet, yeah. Retweet by Peter Alton.
Meaning he didn't actually.
He didn't say it, but he just retweeted it.
Yeah.
And this was like an early state of Twitter where it would actually like present it as you saying it, but then it would say it like RT and then the name of the person. Photo shoot. This is a tweet by him. Photo shoot with Amalia, Stevie Sparkles, and Melissa Pizza, trying to maintain a semi-chub so that I'll look impressive in these photo shoots.
So I'm assuming all those people that he tagged are underage.
Yes, I think so. Here's another one. Hardy Boys and Mystery of What It Feels Like When Uncle Bernie Fists Me. Hashtag sad children's books. Here's another one. The Expendables was so manly that I fucked the shit out of the little pussy boy next to me. The boys are back in town. I'm kind of done reading these. It goes on in that vein. It continues to go on in that vein. So yeah, but nonetheless, right? So what are your guys' initial reactions to those tweets?
I mean, that's the thing, man. Is like we've had discussions. I mean, like I follow a comedian, Owen Benjamin, who he's had his whole Twitter deleted for making jokes. I mean, and they called them. They really like came down on him to the point where not only he had to get his Twitter deleted, but they were like going after his like Patreon account and trying to delete his YouTube channel and all this stuff. And it was but it was very clear, like if you read the stuff, it wasn't, he was joking.
Yeah.
But I read this stuff and it's just like there's no punchline.
No.
There's not even any like attempt to like make it funny. It's just things that are like jarring and
shock
value. Yeah. I don't like read, of course everything sounds different, when it's delivered, instead of typed out, but still it's just like, I'm not with it. I don't know who this is targeting. And then I take into account the fact that he wasn't, a teenager at the time. He wasn't, the age that we all were when we were saying, dead baby jokes and, dark stuff like that.
I don't know, man. It sucks for him because, if you're going to post things, what we might be missing is the context of his personality quirks and his own specific brand of humor. Being a notable figure, you got to kind of be careful what you put out there. And so when you want to be candid in your own personal brand of humor, but you're still trying to remain a professional, there's no context for that. It's kind of like the reason why I have like a business account and a personal account. Like
exactly.
You don't mix them.
Right.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. You use his personal Twitter account for those. And I think personally that he should be held accountable for what you say. I think there's truth to that.
I don't know about this whole trend with just straight up firing. I mean,
well,
I don't know.
Can I let me parrot Owen Benjamin's take on this?
Yeah. See,
he was talking about this from the perspective of, because Owen Benjamin is he's a rightist. He's like a traditional.
He wasn't. He considered himself just a few years ago. He considered himself a left. Yeah, and then it started moving.
Yeah, from this is what I gather. So you can speak more on him, but I from what I understand, he's a capitalist, and
he's definitely not a socialist.
Yeah, right. So to that extent, he was saying that he was saying on a stream a few days ago, he's saying I'm a capitalist, and I totally find it reasonable to think that Disney does not want to associate with this guy that's tweeting jokes about pedophilia on his Twitter, and from that perspective, yes, I think that is acceptable.
Grounds for firing, right?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, there's a gray area with the First Amendment, right? Because public speech is protected, yes, but speech that's being used under the guise of representation for a private company, your First Amendment rights are not necessarily protected by that. It's in the same way that you can't, if you're speaking on a personal Twitter account, that it's different than if you're speaking on like Wendy's. If you're like, if you are like, liking pornography on the Wendy's social media account, then you as a social media manager should be fired for that, because even though it's your free speech right to like whatever fucking shit you want on Twitter, right? But as a representative of the company,
and you got to keep in mind that he was directing films for children.
Exactly.
One can argue it's not specifically just for that demographic, but
it was actually, I would say it was more closer to like teenagers. I'd say it was marketed to.
Yeah, but I mean, children watched it.
Yeah.
So now
there's like
you got to view it through the lens of a parent that's like, now they got to look at the dialogue, like really like sit and analyze what this guy is, if he's informing these characters, and saying these sorts of things. It's pretty. That's a totally different story than say like the whole Roseanne situation, because people are already like, they're like immediately started comparing the situations, but it's like,
right,
no man, this guy he's talking about like really reprehensible stuff. He's not making fun of a grown adult.
Yeah. Here's another perspective that you can take. This is something that I've heard argued by a few people on the right and people that are, defenders of free speech abjectly. They say that spaces like Twitter are actually necessarily spaces for free speech because they're using the internet, which is actually developed through public funds. The internet was first developed by the military. So it was literally developed using taxpayer money.
There's another thing that's on this documentary that I'm getting ready to watch. It like talks about how the internet, people think, it was obviously created by, some nerd.
Yeah, some enterprising capitalist nerd.
Yeah, but it's just like, no, this is all like CIA type level shit. These people that were working for the military trying to figure out, how to use this technology that they have available to them and use it on the public. It's very interesting stuff, but man, this whole issue, it's very disturbing. Not even just this, but the whole Dan Harmon thing is actually way more disturbing to me.
Right, the Dan Harmon. Have you watched that clip?
Yes.
Yeah. I have not watched it. I've heard it.
Explain the Dan Harmon situation.
So the Dan Harmon situation. Apparently, he was working on a pilot for like this show that was supposed to. It's called Daryl, and he was supposed to be like, he took the idea, like the premise of like Dexter, and then he was gonna like, he basically like changed it to where the protagonist is actually this guy called Daryl, and his job is apparently to like go into I guess he's like a therapist, and but instead of like fixing people, like to prevent, I don't know, you get really confused as to what it's really about.
So he creates a narrative for some baby fucking.
Yeah,
basically,
yes, it seems that way.
And it's all that's what it seems like. It's just an excuse for him.
And what was this for? A legitimate project he's trying to produce?
He had it like on his channel. It's like this website that he had, and I think he was aiming to have it on like what was it?
That's fucked up too. If
it
it's
was on. I think it was supposed to be like on Showtime.
Oh shit!
So
I know he has like this film festival type thing. It's hosted like monthly. I think it's called like Channel 101 or some shit like that.
That's what it was supposed to be on.
It's basically it's like where Rick and Morty started.
Yeah.
You get all these people producing shows, and then people vote on which one they like, and then the next month they get to produce another episode.
Yeah.
And
so this was
so he was probably trying to come up with some random outrageous fucking show just to be funny.
Exactly.
I'm sure.
But I mean,
Right.
in it, he's actually enacting. I mean, he
Is it a
like took his
cartoon?
shirt off. No,
It's live action.
him.
Oh, it's him.
It's him.
Yeah.
And he just walks into a room and he like creeps up on this baby figure that's just laying there, and then he like creepily takes his shirt off. He takes his pants off, and he's just like gyrating on it, like, you know, his hips and shit. It's very awkward.
Did
And you
anybody
hear crying.
vote for this episode to return?
No, like he actually deleted it, and then this all resurfaced recently, and then he was so appalled by people giving him shit for it that he deleted his whole Twitter.
Oh no.
And,
what about Channel 101?
I don't know. I mean, the thing is that this was on Channel 101 from way back, but the video got deleted. So
Right.
people still had it in a vault. You know, they had it archived somewhere. So, so now it's resurfacing with all these, you know, people in Hollywood coming out, like being exposed, and
Yeah, I think it's
And,
just that time
they
right
did a
now. It's
statement
time to blow the
where-
whistle. You know.
yeah, no. I mean, there's been documentaries basically exposing pedophilia in Hollywood.
Yeah,
and
but,
how,
but do you know who this actually came from originally? Sorry to cut you off, but do you know who was actually leaking all this shit? Are you familiar with Mike Cernovich?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, Mike Cernovich and
I'm not
this guy Jack
I'm
Posobiec.
familiar with him, but I don't follow any of
These
their
guys
stuff.
are like they're like considered to be like far right, but they're really closer to center right. They're like Trump supporters, but they are pissed because of what you're saying. Like they're like getting deplatformed. Like a lot of the people that they associate with are getting completely kicked off Twitter. So they're like, all right, so you want to deplatform us, you want to take our jobs away, so we're gonna reverse the role here. We're gonna flip it on you. And the thing that they share, that James Gunn and Dan Harmon share, is that they're vehement anti-Trump guys. So they were actually targeted specifically because of the way that they post on Twitter incessantly
because
about
these
Trump.
are guys that are just like I showed you. I linked you to that video where Dan Harmon is just like, you know, we're done with discourse. You know, it's time to you know, and I don't know what they mean. I mean, he in that video, I swear to God, he's there are heavy implications that he's for genocide.
He's calling for violence. That's
Calling
what it
for
seems like.
violence, but
Yeah.
he's straight up saying, you know, it's either us or them. Like
That's exactly
he
what he's
says,
saying,
there
yeah.
are 20. What did he say? 29% of the population, and then he's saying that that 29% needs to go. It's like,
Yeah.
but yeah, and it's just, man, that video is so hard to watch because, you know, like I felt like for a minute there, you know, before all the big, you know, Rick and Morty hype, like for first season, and I should have known too, because I remember first season, there's after the credits on one episode, there's this really questionable like rape. It's implied that somebody was raped. And I remember just feeling so bothered by it. I was just like that was not necessary. Like, I'm glad it was. I mean, it was funny that, I mean, I'm glad it wasn't part of the actual episode. It was just one of those like didn't make it into the episode, and it's like it's after the credits or whatever. But it was just like that was not funny,
Right.
you know.
I think as much as we're in this whistleblowing era of, you know, we bring up reprehensible shit because you don't want to be associated with somebody that's done all this crazy shit, but we also forget that we have fucking like put ourselves into this it's worse than lowbrow humor. It's this edgy humor,
Yeah.
and it goes a lot into like the meme culture.
Right.
At a certain point, edginess isn't funny. You cross a line.
It's just distasteful at some point.
Right. I'm in this group where, you know, it's a shit posting group, just trolls and memes and shit. But you get a lot of people who will post edgy things, you know, to get big reactions and shit. And this one guy in particular, he posted about in this particular group, it's like you can I don't know, it's banned to post like animal abuse videos and shit like there's even in this shit posting group there are rules.
Yeah.
But this one guy like posted a video of him like dragging a cat like with his car. And it was like funny to him, I guess, but it was like horrific, you know what I mean? And so this
Yeah, like where do you draw the line?
Right, yeah.
You know, where is it like, you know, past the joke mark and you're just, you know, like I mean, I can't help like but think that these like with the whole Dan Harmon thing, when I was watching that, I was just like, yeah, I could laugh at this, but I mean,
you see the edge.
He is literally, and the baby's crying. It's like he added the fucking sound effect where it's just like, and
It's like
just
it's supposed to be absurd.
it's weird.
like, yeah.
It's like Tim and Eric, but it's just like dark. There's like no like funniness about it. There's like a sort of caricature going around in it, but like he just creeps in and then abuses a kid over a monologue.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, who are you parroting? It's like the only thing that I could see like.
Well, it's
like
a Dexter parody, right?
Yeah, it's a Dexter parody, but where does the fucking kid rape come in?
Oh.
Is that like, that's my question. It's like, well, where does that enter your head as this, you know, be a funny bit, Dexter, but there's child rape.
The whole Dexter premise.
Yeah.
Okay, if people aren't aware, like he's using violence against people who propagate violence. I mean, in itself, he is propagating violence because he's murdering, you know, serial killers or people who are, you know, people who fall in that fringe.
Yeah.
Or you know, outside society, you know, that do, you know, that commit crimes. And so like the whole message is that, you know, it brings morality into question and all that. Like, is he wrong? Because, you know, he's that's his way of preventing other murders,
Right.
you know. And so this guy, I think the whole thing was like he's preventing I forget what it is, like he was preventing like crime, like he tries to explain it somehow, but it just no matter what the
Comes off as
explanation, it just
convoluted.
yeah. It's just like it was.
He was just
something
reaching,
weird.
if probably.
Yeah, he's just like the whole thing is like he's, you know, he's raping the baby and like that way, because that's his. He's like I say, he's like a therapist or something, and instead of you know, fixing them like by talking to them, it's like he has to rape your child to.
I don't know. The thing is though, with comedy is like. With good comedy is like you could see where they would go, right? And the thing that's funny about it, right? There's nothing more unfunny than deconstructing a joke, right? This goes without saying, but the thing that could be really funny about comedy is that you're like, damn, bro, if only I had thought about that. Like that's clever, that's funny, that's insightful, that's smart. And that's not all humor. Like don't get me wrong, but like some of the like really good humor that's like social commentary or whatever like that, like it makes you think. It makes you like, huh, that's interesting. I'm not seeing any of that in this fucking bit that he's trying to fucking do here.
How long ago was this? Do you guys
This
know?
was 2009.
2009. Wow. So almost 10 years ago. Before he's anywhere near a household name. Fuck, dude. I just have so many more questions before I can judge him for it. Yeah. Like, what was the context of other entries for that month?
Right.
Or the previous months? Was there a fucking rape theme going on at that time? Like,
could have been.
He wanted to get extra votes. You know what I mean? I don't fucking know what the deal was. Yeah, maybe it had less to do with Dexter than something that we're not seeing. And I'm not trying to defend him either.
No, I know what you're saying. You want to be informed about it.
Yeah, exactly. Because we're in this time where everything is fucking scrutinized. Something you did when you were a fucking 4 years old could come up.
Yeah.
And it's like, is there no forgiveness anymore? Like, it's just one thing, one moment of your life, you know, no matter if it's an action or something happened to you, no one can fucking let it go anymore. Like,
yeah.
I heard something about Chris Hardwick. I don't know if you guys heard that. The dude from The Talking Dead. Somebody accused him of, you know, they Me Too'd him, and I guess he got cleared by AMC. Amongst, you know, well, the whole thing with James Gunn and Roseanne, those are both Disney situations. Right. So it's just interesting to me that AMC, like, you know, investigated. You know, they don't just go with the public outcry.
Right.
Because I'm sure a lot of people were just like, nope, he got me too. It's fucking over. Yeah. Like, we know who you are now, dude. Like, come on. Like, I don't fucking know. Yeah. It's just, well, I need to be informed before I make these impulsive fucking decisions. And
there's I agree with that, but I mean, like there's more to it. I mean, it's not just like this video alone. It's just his general,
and plus he depicted it like that is crossing a line.
Yeah, he depicted it, and but I mean, it's also like the double standards that are set. Yeah. Like, I mean, like we know, like for instance, like Adult Swim, they've canceled shows before, and it's just weird, like what people can get away with and what they can't, and it's why is it that this guy
well, let me just come out and say it. There is an absolute double standard in the sense that $1 Million Extreme, the show by Sam Hyde and Nick Rochefort, Charles Carroll, these guys, they made jokes that were somewhat political in nature and somewhat racial or somewhat homophobic. And I'm not going to necessarily excuse all of the things that Sam Hyde said on Twitter. I really wish I had his archives to see everything that he said. But there was enough of a public outcry and general outrage and political collectivism that
this guy's hot. Like we can't have this guy on our network.
Oh, and their show was incredibly successful. They had Adult Swim had apparently bought another 100 episodes of their show after this one season, just due to how successful it was. And then all of this stuff came out about his politics, and they're like, okay, this is too much. But when we're painting with the same brushstroke here, okay, so people didn't investigate into the nuance of what Sam Hyde's positions were. People didn't separate art from politics at all. It was just a media blitzkrieg against him, and they got him fired. If we are to paint Dan Harmon with the same brushstroke, okay, James Gunn with the same brushstroke, is there no equivalency, or what is the equivalency, or is there any equivalency between making racial sexual jokes or pedophilia, child molestation jokes? Is there like, how are these things? Of course, it's hard to compare these things moralistically because everybody's moral compass is totally different. But like, I see pedophilia as abjectly more of a thing that is totally beyond the pale than like a racial joke, or like a joke about being homosexual, or a joke about politics, right? These things are like within the normal discourse of comedy. I mean, they're like pedophilia,
and it doesn't stop there. I mean, ever like since then, I've seen clips of people have brought up of Sarah Silverman, for instance, in her show. She there was this scene where like she had Patton Oswalt in there, and I think she was talking about somebody, what was it? Somebody like a child said something about like I have to pee. And she's just like, "Can you pee in my mouth or something?"
Oh yeah,
I don't know what she said, but then they're like, "What?" Like everybody reacted naturally.
She said it was a tweet that she said. This might have been something separate. She said it was like she was tweeting saying, "Is it sexual assault if the 13-year-old makes the first move? At me, I need to know quick." Is what she's saying, which essentially
that's essentially what she wrote into her own show.
Yeah,
it takes me to that episode of Workaholics where they meet that really cool dude and they want to be just like him, but then they find out that he likes little boys, and they're like, well, he still gets like all the ladies fucking want him though, like so they still hang out with him. And they're like, okay, they're like trying to rationalize it, like, okay, he just likes to fuck little boys, like, that's his business. And he's like all open about it and shit, and we're laughing at this episode, you know what I mean? And it's one of my favorite episodes. Like, it's fucking hilarious. I think
there's another episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia that's like, it's
dude,
great like that too,
and it's along the same vein, dude. you have to take it as absurd. And doing anything else, it's more a reflection of you. Like, fuck. Like, do you not understand what ridiculous statements and concepts are? Yeah. But I understand, like we were saying, the line that you're walking on, you have to know.
You're playing with fire, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Some of these people, though, they have had reputations for calling out other people. That's where the problem lies. It's like Dan Harmon, for instance.
Exactly. That's a good point.
He like, he's one of those leftist type that like gets offended by words. Gets offended by other people's, like what he deems, offensive. Yeah. And then this comes out and it's immediately, he doesn't want to talk about it. He just deletes his old Twitter account.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you come to find out that Adult Swim isn't firing him. They are actually, in fact, letting him keep his show.
Yeah.
And they're saying, That's really where the difference lies in all this.
Yeah.
Is that there's a double standard. Well, if we're gonna be, edgy, then, let's not throw around these ideas of that needs to be censored or this needs to be, like we're trying to dictate, they want to ban unwrite certain characters on Simpsons. They're suddenly offended by this character that's like a stereotype, even though people in the 90s agreed that
people
that was
have
hilarious.
accepted it up till this point, and now it's got to fall into this this new
the social
normal
field has it's changed a whole lot.
That's
I don't know.
Progressivism.
I think the big problem too is that everything's in black and white. It's in print. There's a record of your paper trail of presence online. Any type of business or everything's going to go through the internet for promotion, for everything. Your quotes, and it's immortal. It lives forever now. It's going to live longer than you.
That's what I've been doing recently. I totally scrubbed myself from Twitter, from Facebook. I'm considering getting rid of my Instagram. Because I realized. I
recently dove into my old tweets.
Yeah.
I found that way to dig up stuff that that you were tweeting out before, when you first started.
Right.
And I had my account since 2008, 2009.
Damn.
But I recently reactivated it last year. So there was a whole stuff that I was putting up back then when I was only probably 19, 20 years old. And it's just man, I'm just I shouldn't have been putting that out there.
Yeah.
Just personal information,
Yeah.
Stuff that's I can see where it could be used against me or taken in the wrong context.
Yeah. So now my interaction on Twitter, I do not have a link to my name at all. I do not have a link to my phone number. I do not have any of my because
you notice that's what these algorithms do.
Exactly.
They more and more it's all under the whole we want to personalize everything for you. It's all how you want it. But it's
convenience.
Yeah, convenience. Yeah. Now you don't even have to we can link all your accounts.
Right.
You don't have to even link
your Google and Facebook accounts to everything.
Just to sit there and type your password in.
Right.
If you want us to just read your facial recognition, and all that stuff.
Get your thumbprint in there.
Yeah, thumbprint in there. It's just what more do you want to give us? People willingly do it.
Sample your blood,
and it's so easy because it's it's right there in the whole idea of just share, what's on your mind, and next thing you know, you have a digital version of yourself, And that's exactly what I was thinking. I was looking back and I was I barely remember writing a lot of this stuff because it's in that time.
Yeah, dude, you're on autopilot.
Yeah.
They've programmed you to just outpour those fleeting.
Yeah, because it was all, exactly, it's all stuff that, it was just spur of the moment.
Yeah, dude.
I was just you can tell I was just, I had my phone on me and then a thought came to me and I was just wrote it out. and just forgot about it.
Yeah.
But it's like, that was a version of myself that, you know, I'm so like far, like, because reading them now, it's just like, I don't even like know that person, but they have that, you know, to do with whatever they, you know, the people can do with, or that could be used against me now.
Well, think about how much you evolve as a person. Like, I mean, even my old tweets. That's why I look at my tweets that I made like a few months ago. And I'm like, yeah, it's like exactly. Every single day you evolve. Every day brings new experiences that evolves your perspective and changes the way you think. And you try to live for the better each day. And sometimes you fail, sometimes you fuck up, sometimes you do well, right? But I think that like my tweets, right? Like let me just say that my political philosophies have changed drastically in a matter of a few months, and I would get very passionate, and I would try to have some sort of platform to talk about them. And I've realized that I do not want them to be. I don't want my political philosophies to be shared with anybody. I don't want my political philosophies to be shared with my prospective employers, with my extended family. I will share them with the people that want to hear them.
That can understand.
Yeah, that can understand them, or are receptive to them, or I can speak them. Well,
because when you give, I've learned that when you give, you know, people, like when you label yourself a certain thing, you know, or consider yourself, you know, this or that, like people, that's what they're gonna see you as. I mean, you're just, you know. That's like at some point that's all you.
That's what you become.
Yeah, you become for them, and now they're just like seeing everything that you say is filtered through that, you know, that understanding, and it's like that's such a black and white view, like that, like
very
filters out
oversimplistic.
so much. Yeah, you know, so that's a very dangerous world to live in, and. Like I get annoyed now. I mean, sometimes like I appreciate like Stevie like having his account because he shares memes, like stuff that, you know, I can like just scroll onto and then, you know, just laugh at, and it like, you know, but it's like people that are like sitting there and like spouting out other political views, or, you know, sharing, you know, oh, I did this today or this today, and it's just like now the way what I think about them, it informs what I think about them as an individual. And now it's like when I approach them, like it clouds it.
Yeah.
Like instead of like now I know too much about you.
Yeah.
And it's like I just like that when we, you know, you know, we could just hang out and
right.
You know.
I think the beauty of friendship is that you can know it, as you become like closer friends with people and you learn more and more about them, you actually have a richer and more informed perspective about them, and it makes you like you have shared experiences, you have things that you can relate on, and you like it kind of strengthens your bond. I think with social media it does the opposite. It's like if you actually aren't really like too close with someone and you hear and you don't actually really give a shit about them, to be honest, and they keep on spewing their shit and you dislike them more, it's like it gives you more fuel to dislike them. And maybe this is just me being nihilistic and jaded, but there are people that I had like sort of like a lukewarm reception towards, that I like enough that I actually would add them on Facebook, and then as I would learn more about them through their Facebook posting, I'd be like, fuck this person.
Right.
And I would never like want to talk to them or hang out with them any time really.
Dan Harmon should have heard this podcast before he posted, or that guy on that made the movies. He should have listened to this podcast.
He should have listened to what we had to say.
He should have listened to this.
He should have traveled to the future just to listen to the Trash Boy Hours podcast.
Yeah.
Well, maybe
so
the future Dan Harmons out there will fucking hear this shit.
That's true. It's absolutely true.
And what I'm trying to say to you right now is
don't touch kids.
Edgier. Let's go edgier.
Let's go edgier.
But
with your mouth wide open.
But clear in what you
and funny, please. Please, funny.
Listen, if you can't do stand up,
dude,
then don't make a comedy show.
Come on now, yeah.
If you can't do stand up, don't make a comedy show.
Oh man.
Fucking stand up sucks, dude.
See, I know. I mean, I know. I'm aware of, you know, the Eric Andre type humor. You know, I know what, Adult Swim has pushed over the years, just to be crude and just,
of course,
that's okay, just
goofy,
in
zany.
your face. Yeah, zany and all that. I understand all that.
There exists a fucking dirty underbelly of fucking comedy, though, where people want slavery jokes, dead baby jokes,
So it comes
Holocaust
down to that.
jokes. Like, there is a fucking demographic for this shit. We can't pretend that it doesn't exist.
Well, even like something like Come Town, which is like really raunchy and dirty and edgy, still is tasteful. Like, it's not just like brute, like fucking.
Just hearing Comes Town described as tasteful is.
Well, it is.
Yeah.
I mean, like, they like really like try to develop what they're talking about while they're talking about it. They're not just like kind of
it's all bits.
Yeah,
It's all. I mean, once you understand that, so it's like they themselves are aware that what they're talking about is just it's silly.
they're not like recording bits where they're like raping children out of nowhere, like they're creeping in through a window pretending to be Dexter, a therapist, and then abusing a child.
There have been.
So I'm assuming that you found it just as
Yeah, well, yeah, definitely. Like, I mean, I feel like anybody would, because like it just happens so quickly.
You just have to watch it, man.
Yeah.
It's just
I need to definitely see
It's
it for
being
myself.
scrubbed from the internet though. They're trying to get it pulled.
Oh yeah,
it's being flagged it's being flagged everywhere. I saw it. If you guys can't find it, I do have a link to it. I know how to find a link to
Live
it.
Leak.
Yeah, is it on Live Leak?
I don't know.
No,
I'm just
no.
saying.
It's on. It was shared
That's
on a
where it's gonna
podcast I
end
listened
up.
to. It shared on a podcast that I listened to. So if you guys need access to it, I can.
Yeah,
Send
I'm
it your
all
way.
like I said, I'm all for all that. Like just pushing the envelope.
What is that? Pushing the envelope?
Well,
Not effectively.
I mean, maybe you look at it, it's Channel 101. Like, this is a one-off gag. It's a novel fucking,
I wonder what
He probably is really fucking pissed that he did that.
because he did. He said he wanted to it was an idea.
Let's do a syndicated
So
TV
was
show
this
about
just
baby rape.
Like, I wonder if the therapist would go on to do other. I mean, was that? I mean, that's so weird to me.
It almost reminds me of like from like Whitest Kids You Know with like the rapist, where it was like a rapist character, but it was like only like a bit from an episode. Like maybe that was supposed to be like a bit from an episode of Collective stuff.
It was
but like,
a rapist character that in just that one clip raped a baby.
yeah.
And he would go later on to rape all kinds of different people.
Exactly.
yeah.
He would
Come
rape
on,
every type
guys.
of person.
Like maybe if they made like a song, like they did like a song over it, but it's just a monologue where he's like, "Man, I broke into that room. They turned off the lights." And yeah, it was creepy as fuck. It was
weird.
It's like fantastic. It's like a fantasy.
Fever dream.
Yeah, but I see that's the thing is I am trying to check myself because I immediately do want to jump on the fact that a lot of these Hollywood types are.
Abusing kids.
Maybe if not abusing kids, definitely like doing a lot of weird shit.
Yeah.
Trying to normalize sexuality to kids.
Yeah, deviancy. And because I mean I've read a lot of really well researched material on and there's been documentaries that have been like targeted because they're exposing these types. Why would they want to, vehemently like suppress this?
Because there's truth to it.
Yeah.
That's what I wonder. Because I mean, otherwise it'd be like,
society
oh yeah,
shit.
put that out. Like that's none of it's true.
Yeah.
Like no, like there's been people who speak out on this, and it's like something happens to them. So it's like I don't know, man, but.
So is the end game to cut the cord and not watch TV and have all access into everybody's life, or to just like be ignorant and just absorb what you want to absorb when you see it, and then you like subscribe to those characters?
But is that really ignorance though, to be selective about your tastes?
Well, not necessarily be selective, but be selective and ignorant. You know what I mean?
Oh, are you talking about in perspective with the like the secret society underground child sex shit? I think that there needs to be a full scale explosive research and reporting on these matters, and these people need to be brought into the daylight, need to be prosecuted to the full extent of the law, and then culled from society. That's what I think should happen.
Well, how are we going to do that without it ending up like 1988 or whatever that book is. With like
I
thought
don't really
crimes.
care when it comes to kids that abuse children. I don't care if it turns into fascism.
Yeah.
I think that they should be taken away. But I have a very extremist position on that.
It's See, that's one line of thinking. But, but what is
But they should
happening?
be tried,
what is
and they should
currently
be-
happening is that they are throwing the and a lot of these like
They're being
BuzzFeed and stuff
exposed.
like that. They are throwing out these like, well, why aren't we seeing them as like the victims? You know what I mean? Like that is happening.
Did you guys see the TEDx talk about? You saw that. Have you guys heard of this? The TEDx talk that was saying that pedophilia is a legitimate sexual persuasion. That was like the title of the fucking TEDx talk.
What is it, like non-offending child abuse?
Yeah, exactly.
I
It's
mean,
this whole
pedophilia.
The way that this woman phrased it, it was like this German psychologist, and she was like introducing it. It was like some German guy, like Richthofen is a 19-year-old soccer player and straight A college student, but he has a secret that he can't tell anyone. He loves to fuck kids, and it's like come on, man.
I mean, what I'm
So
seeing
he was
a
an
lot
offender?
of, he was an offender, but what I'm seeing a lot of is people who claim that they have those thoughts, but they
don't act.
don't act, and so that draws into question, is that is that in and of itself an offense?
Well, I think the sexual orientation is, and I think that there are ways that you can, if you cognitively know that you have a sexual attraction to people that are underage, there are ways that you can disable yourself from acting on those urges. You can have yourself chemically castrated. It's not a pleasant thing, but I think that if you want to be truly moral in your self-analysis and you see that you have those tendencies, then there are ways in which you can prevent yourself from acting on them, to the extent that you're not going to be jailed for acting on those urges, right? There are ways you can avoid that. It's not a happy topic. The whole thing is like, this is not a happy topic, period, right?
Yeah,
but these are things that do exist within society, and these things are psychological aberrations. The woman in this, I watched the whole TEDx talk. The woman said in this thing that she says that people that are sexually attracted to children under the age of 12 years old make up about 5% of the global population.
So where are these numbers coming from?
I don't know. Also this must be from people that have like announced, right? I mean, or maybe this is just some sort of like,
or just based on what they're researching.
Yeah, based on the sort of the demographics of
Google
self-reporting. Yeah, it's like it's probably very shaky, and it's probably a very rough estimate. But the fact is that, I mean, that sounds to me like a reasonable number to think that it's in the same way that's probably a similar number of people that have schizophrenia or sociopathic tendencies, right? And I'm sure there's overlap between them, right? But the fact that this is a thing that exists means that it's a thing that needs to be addressed. And it's the same reason why it comes up in comedy. This is something that it's trying to deal with this problem through art. It's trying to desensitize us to it because it's trying to disarm us from it, because we don't like to think about it. It's not something that is pleasurable to think about. It's actually terrible to think about. Like I feel like ill talking about it, and I feel remorse talking about what needs to be done in the situation of it. But it's a fact of life. It's a thing that needs to be dealt with harshly, in my mind. But I think that we shouldn't. I think we have to be reasonable about it. But also, I think we need to be sensitive about it.
We got to be real careful.
Yeah.
As to like how it's being used, how it's being portrayed. Like, I mean, it's just a really touchy, subject. I mean, like, it's very sensitive, very, very sensitive issue.
I agree.
We gotta lighten things up, bro.
Yeah.
Because this feels bleak.
Very depressing. Near resolution of the Trash Boy Hours podcast, but this is the type of shit that we get
trashed.
into. We're trash as fuck. I'd say let's try to come to a reasonable conclusion on this shit. What I'll say is I think we all here around this table can say that they've laughed at some fucked up shit, It goes without saying, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So, but to the extent that is a fact of life, and also if you listen to comedy, you approach comedy, you will be shocked, you will be horrified, you will be dismayed. But if you listen to enough comedy, at some point you don't give a fuck, right? I thought that I couldn't be pissed off. I thought that I couldn't be shocked because of the internet culture I've been brought up in.
Yeah, you think
but then,
I've been exposed to some pretty fucked up shit.
Oh yeah, for sure. But then shit like this comes about where it's like the people that you wouldn't think would be the ones that are creating this content or that are putting it out there are the ones that are doing it. So there's like a disconnect between the person themselves and what they're representing. Okay. So I think that's the thing that really kind of sells it to me, that this is a weird scenario.
I just want to take back like, no, I mean, I just mean like, I just wish I could just scrub that away from me. Just my memory, just having seen like just his look, like he's got this certain look in his eyes.
And it's just like the whole video. The whole video is odd. It's like he's playing out his own fantasy. That's just what it feels like.
But it's like, I really am trying to understand, because it's like this is the Rick and Morty creator after all. But nothing on that show. I mean, like I said, aside from this like rapes, there was like a very implied like somebody was shattered by rape. And it was a cartoon, and it was just like, a joke, obviously, but it was just so, I was just like, it was something like that. Like it was like in a bathroom or something.
Oh, that was from that was the bean guy, the gray bean guy. He
I think so.
Like tries to like
He's like a king, but
they like travel to like a different dimension, and they like go to this town where there's this like mayor guy. And
that whole scene, that episode's rife with rape,
and he, like,
dude.
starts,
I was just like,
and Morty is totally a child.
In the bathroom, and then he like pushes him into like a stall and tries to molest him.
I like how animated you guys have become at the realization of.
I remember I used to work with this guy, and like he would always ask me, he's like, hey, do you watch Rick and Morty? I'm like, yeah, I watch Rick and Morty. And every time I said that, he'd bring up that scene and start cracking up. And he'd do
some people,
like
I get it.
times.
Like some people
do
like
that scene exactly. He's like, do you watch Rick and Morty? That one scene, and I was like, Jesus, dude.
Dude, this is the fourth time you've told me about this fucking scene.
Yeah, and every time like, yeah, I've seen that scene. Yeah, it was a funny scene. I get it. Like whenever the buzzword Rick and Morty comes into his head, he just thinks about that rape scene.
That really hit home for him.
This is a guy that calls girls females as well. Like so, like every time this started reoccurring, I'm like, dude, man, this looks bad for you, dude.
Well, see, that's what I wonder, because I mean,
like Dan Harmon releasing that and then having like the child molestation thing as well. Like, what does that say about his character? Where it like seems like he's like.
Well, I mean, I've noticed a lot of just in real life. Like I've met people where they consider themselves super conservative Christian types, but they have no problem watching what. Like the Saws, like movies, like where it's like they
cognitive dissonance.
Yeah, they're attracted by it,
right?
Because it's like, whoa, like
Yeah, it's like watching an antelope get eaten. Like you can't look away, but you want to vicariously like experience this. So when you see fucking donut guy rape Morty, you're like, I didn't think, and they're fucking. It's like Tusk. Like, are they really gonna fucking go there?
It's like you
they're
so
going
bad.
there. Okay, and then it hits you because they went there. Holy fuck! I gotta tell everybody about this.
Like,
it's kind of almost like a high that you get from it too.
Yeah, like shoplifting or something.
Yeah,
like,
it's
like, am I gonna get caught for laughing at this? Nah, it's funny. Like. I'm not a bad guy. That's the other thing.
Because somebody who's funny made it, like the child rape. It's funny,
and I have to admit, like I have laughed at like jokes about pedophilia. Like there's like been Come Town bits where it's just like they make like a stupid joke about like how like if you like have donated to like the Gerber Life like charity fund, like you get to fuck one kid. Like it's like they make a joke like that, right? And it's like I found myself laughing really hard at that. So I can't
Fuck,
say
dude. Like if James Gunn posted that,
So, yeah, Dan
over
Harmon.
for life. His career is over. Same with Dan Harmon. That's like a hilarious joke, though.
Yeah.
Like, but that would be real career-ending shit today for
fuck
somebody
yeah.
to fucking say. Of note, like, even if one of those Come Town dudes like went off to be like some writer on a show,
yeah.
dude, he might.
He is a writer on a show. That's
well,
the
his
fucking
career
crazy
might
thing.
get fucked because of shit like that.
I think it's actually crazy. Like to speak on Come Town a little bit, like when people hear the name Nick Mullen, they know already. It's like there's like a shroud of mystery, or like that he's got some sort of like public image to present. They know that he makes jokes about pedophilia. They know that he has made jokes saying the N-word. They know that he's got all this baggage already. So if people want to work with him, they already know what they're getting themselves into. But I guess that's what I said in like earlier when I was talking. It's like there's a disconnect here between the public image that's being presented and what's going on. And this is what you talked about with the double standard. It's like
So if you maintain the guise of pedophilia from the get-go, then there's no flip-flop to be witnessed.
You made a
okay, I got you.
Yeah.
You're very right. What about Roseanne, though? She was always a fucking racist-ass bitch.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised at Roseanne.
You know what I mean?
I never had any problem with what she said.
Right, so why did everyone freak the fuck out? Like she flip-flopped. She's
It's
always been
because-
this way.
I think the reason why was because it was convenient, because I did not like the new Roseanne. I thought it was quite shit.
Any
but
show, come on. I mean, even talking about this new Jackass show, I'm barely. I mean, I like I said, I appreciate that they're trying.
Yeah.
But it's like I'm already just going into it, just like thinking,
it's gonna be
this has been done before.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's like there's no. I was actually talking about my mom with this. She's like, oh, because they're like remaking Freaky Friday, and I was like, dude, that movie came out like less than 10 years ago. It's like the world does not need another Freaky Friday.
It's still so fresh in people's.
It's-
same
yeah.
premise, like
It's the exact same fucking thing, just like with like
They're
cell
all black.
phones.
They did the same thing with Chris Brown and Lil Dicky.
Yeah, but they're all black.
yeah, Freaky
That's the only
Friday.
fucking Freaky Friday remake I need. Chris Brown and Lil Dicky.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they've already,
Chris Brown and
they've already
Lil Dicky.
remade it. You know,
That would be funny as
Yeah,
fuck.
It's
they did
real.
that.
They
Yeah,
did
they
it.
did music
They
video.
did
They
a song.
switched
It's a
bodies.
song.
It's all right.
Dude,
on the
maybe
radio.
we should close with that. Let's just
Yeah.
fucking close with
Okay,
that
let's
song.
play it right now.
Play it out.
All right, guys. It's been Trash Boy Hours.
Trash motherfucking boy hours.
Lil Dicky. I woke up Chris Breezy. Oh my God, I'm the man. I'm so fly and I can dance. There's tattoos on my neck. I just FaceTime Kanye. I told him I'm his biggest fan, yeah. Got all these hoes in my DM. Yeah, I do. Hold up. Holy shit, I got a kid. I can sing so well. Wonder if I can say the N-word. Wait, can I really say the N-word? What up, my nigga? What up, my nigga? Big ups, my nigga. We are my nigga. You pussy ass nigga. Man, fuck y'all niggas. Cause I'm that nigga. I'm that nigga. I woke up in Chris Brown's body. So how this shit turned into Freaky Friday. But we got no choice but to turn this bitch sideways. I can't believe that it's Freaky Friday. It's Freaky Friday. I'm in Chris Brown's body. I drive his Ferrari and I'm like skin black.
What the fuck? I woke up and I'm Lil Dicky. Lil Dicky? What the fuck? This shit is real weak. How's Dick staying perched up on his balls like that? Walking down the street and ain't nobody know my name. Whoa. Ain't no paparazzi flashing pictures, this is great. Whoa. Ain't nobody judging cause I'm black or my controversial past. I'ma go and see a movie and relax. Hey, I'm a blood but I can finally wear blue. Why's his mama calling all the time? Leave me the fuck alone, bitch. Wait, if I'm in Diggy body, Breezy is who? Hold my daughters in school. Fuck, if I was Chris Brown, where would I be? What would I do?
I woke up in Chris Brown's body. So how this shit turned into Freaky Friday. But we got no choice but to turn this bitch sideways. I can't believe that it's Freaky Friday. It's Freaky Friday. I'm in Chris Brown's body. I look at my soft dick with the light. It's my dream dick.
If I was little Diggy in my body, where would I be? I'm trying to find myself like an introspective monk.
I'm balling on the court, oh my god, I can dunk. Snap a flick of my jump.
My dick is trending on Twitter, fuck. Now I'm at the club, I talk my way into getting in. I look up in the VIP, my goodness, there I am. I signal to him, let me in, but he won't let me in.
I don't know who that is.
Wait, who the fuck you think he is? Took a glass bottle, shatter it on the bouncer's head. Walk up to that motherfucker.
Wait, think it through for a sec. If you hurt me, then you only hurting yourself.
But wait, I love myself.
That was the key, now it's switching back. I woke up in Chris Brown's body. So how this shit turned into Freaky Friday. But we got no choice but to turn this bitch sideways. I can't believe that it's Freaky Friday.
Wait, what the fuck?
And now I'm in Ed Sheeran's body. It's way less cool than being Chris Brown was.
What the fuck again?
I'm DJ Khaled. Why am I yelling?
I'm Kendall Jenner. I got a vagina. I'm gonna explore that right now. Holy shit, I got a vagina. I'm gonna learn. I'm gonna understand the inner workings of a woman.